Howdy. Let's hear from Evy Poumpouras, former Secret Service agent.
When you trust, there's two types of trust. There's conditional trust and unconditional trust. Now, conditional trust is, I'm going to do a business deal. I'm going to buy a car from a salesman. So when you deal with conditional trust, you access a higher level of your brain. And when you access this complicated place of your brain, you are trusting conditionally, which means you're working very hard. You understand this person will manipulate you. You understand that you can only trust them conditionally. And you do expect some type of maybe betrayal or lies or something to happen. But you work very, very hard when you're in that space. So when that person betrays you, like that you bought a car and the car salesman, screws you over, you're like, you know what? I didn't like that guy. I knew he was going to do that. I kind of felt it. You're upset, but it's not like this deep thing. That's conditional trust. That's a lot of work though. Now, unconditional trust, the science shows that accesses a different part of our brain, a more primitive part of our brain. And this is where we like to live because it's less work. So this is like the trust you have with your partner. This is the trust you have with a family member or a close friend, which means I'm not working so hard because I'm giving you all this unconditional trust. But then what happens is when they betray you, because you don't expect to get betrayed like you did with the car salesman or in a business negotiation. So when you get this kind of betrayal, this is when it crushes you. And this is where you have such a hard time getting over it. This is where you see people going through a divorce or a painful friendship or where they have that deep, betrayal and they're like, they can't overcome it. And I think it helps for you to understand why that is.
Evy is a very accomplished civil servant. She was a police officer and Secret Service agent at many different levels. Her background is completely impressive. Her knowledge, experience, and training are some of which only very few people have the opportunity to receive. So here she mentions about conditional trust, the kind of trust that we have for folks that we don't know too well or are based on a condition, experience, or context. We also talk about unconditional trust, and that's what we generally give people that we are very close to, relationships that build over time, and a kind of openness that can lead to very deep, meaningful relationships, as well as the potential and the risk to be hurt by them if something were to change. And so with that, we have a choice on who we trust and who we want to invest that time in, and also have that vulnerability too, depending on who we feel can handle that trust, as all humans, desire from some relationships and some people. So you might use some of the lessons that she shared when considering who you may want to trust and who's worth investing in your life.